I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody know the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in there, fork it up. Make country produce in there, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of them politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who talking up me country. Riding on me donkey, transportation bliss. Me fireside bubbling a goodie. I hear rioting in the gas crisis. Surrounded by wild animals. What a vicious pack. But none of them does launch an attack. None of them poison us like Imbert and Sat. The hunt always on, I could say that much. And true, can switch it off like crime watch. My mission now is to put a stop to whosoever fucking me country up. Some say a man named Eric, George, Robbie and Patrick. Some say Capildeo, Paris, Kamla Basteo. Old man Bedu said this ain't nothing new. They fucking up long before 1962. If Butler was around, he might have tell we directly who fucking up me country.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. I'm always pleased that you can join me, and I look forward to our 1 hour session once per week. You know, last week I said that I wasn't sure how long I might be able to continue with the program. Of course, that has to do with logistics with respect to where I am, what I'm doing. Because I always have to find time to put a little something together, and then I have to find time to do the show. But of course, I got some calls and some messages from some of my ardent listeners, and they beseeched me not to stop doing the show. You see, there are some persons who look forward to this show every week. And so if I were to stop doing the show, I would put a little void in their lives every Wednesday night or every Sunday night. Because there are those who, if they miss the show on Wednesday, would make sure they catch it on the rebound on Sunday. And of course, I appreciate the fact that there are persons who continue to listen to the show. And so I commit to continue to do the show every Wednesday night, at least for an hour. And so here we are, Wednesday night, and we are going to do the show this evening. And I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you learn at least one little thing this evening. and we will continue, as I promised, every week, God willing. So if you are in St. Kitts and Nevis, or if you are in the diaspora, I want to say welcome to the show, and I want you to promise that here on out you would continue to invite persons to the show who have not been a part of the show ever, or who may have thought that we were not continuing the show after elections, because there are some persons who didn't know that the show continued, and because they thought that it was purely a show that was gonna prepare people for the elections. But we never stopped. We continued after election. I admitted that we didn't do enough to win the election, and then we took a beating, but we kept on ticking, because you see, I've always said to you that time longer than twine, and so if we had given up after the last election, then I wouldn't have demonstrated that I believe in that concept. Now, tonight I want to talk firstly about the occasion of the murder that was carried out on Monday. Not to talk about murder, but it's something that I've spoken to you about before. The recent murder in St. Kitts was a sad event. No one deserves to die by an illegal bullet. But we hope that this is not the start of a new set of killings in St. Kitts. We have enjoyed a period of relative calm over the last couple of years, because the government has instituted a program, a pay for peace program, which has incentivized criminals and would-be criminals to not kill one another or to not kill other people. But there have been grumblings, not of an imminent warfare, but grumblings that suggests that the parties to the agreement, the pay for peace agreement, wants a renegotiation of the terms. I have said all along that the so-called gang members hold the key to their personal earnings. They are in the driver's position, and so they can demand how much they get paid. They have the power to demand what they make. And why? Because it's simple. If they don't get what they ask for, a killing here and a killing there would get the government's attention and motivate the government to bring more money to the table. Not only did the government pay for peace agreement, practically stopped murders by gunfire in St. Kitts and Nevis, the members of these so-called gangs were very instrumental in returning the said government to office. And so it's not just that they have contributed to a period of calm and peace in the country. They were mobilized to ensure that the government gets back into office. And so they know the value of not only this agreement, but they know the value of their work. They know that they have the ability to put a government into power. And if you have the ability to put a government into office, it stands to reason that you have the ability to remove them from office. And if you have an ability to remove a government from office, that's an awesome power to have in a small country like St. Kitts and Nevis. And I keep saying to these guys, you have an awesome power in the country. And it follows that you may even have the power to determine candidates that you prefer to run in St. Kitts. The gang members were integral to the campaigns that returned Team Unity to government. So why shouldn't they benefit from the spoils of an election? The politicians are packing up their bank accounts with illegal funds. So why shouldn't they get what they deserve? I've said before, they are in a strong bargaining position. The gangs in St. Kitts right now are like unions. They have collective bargaining power to move the government to make decisions that benefit them and their members. And let me tell you something. This deal, Pay for Peace, is a good deal. It's great if you could get it. Because look, all you got to do is hang out all day, smoke a blunt here and there all day. I mean, if that's your thing, party and count your money. That's a good deal. That's a great deal if you could get it. Nowhere was there a demand that they provide productive work. No, this is free money. And even in the event, as I've said to you, that government is thinking about downsizing or cutting salaries, as they have done at the port, government is not inclined to deny these members their allowances before they cut salaries and wages. Now, don't get me wrong, I've always said that holistically and long-termly, I believe that the pay for peace is a failed social idea. The idea of paying criminals or would-be criminals to forego committing crimes, including murder, it's not new, but it's not necessarily the most enlightened public strategy or policy. Belize tried it, and it failed fantastically. You see, that strategy, as applied in St. Kitts, essentially signals a failure of public policy and a failure of government. The government didn't even try to solve the problem. They jumped at the first idea to pay for peace. Not so much so because it was going to stop murders, but because they saw an opportunity to use it to win elections. And it paid off. It paid off. People in St. Kitts and Nevis were so fed up of all the killing that they would have accepted any policy that stopped the murders. And we did. And we accepted the pay for peace policy on that count. But consider this. Our murder rate is still higher than many of the countries with larger population in the Caribbean, you know. And they don't pay their criminals. What they do is they devise ways to suppress or depress or eliminate crime. It takes hard work, and they were willing to put in the hard work. We were not willing to do that. In St. Kitts, we have created a new norm regarding crime and violence and how we treat with crime and violence. And that is why you find that you don't read anywhere about the practice in St. Kitts. That is why the government has not yet publicly accepted that they have a pay for peace program. They cannot use it as a best practice because it is not a best practice. It is not a practice that anybody would want to take up. But you see, because of our laziness and appetite for quick and easy fixes, we have a situation where the very criminals now essentially run the country. And if they don't run the country, they can. Maybe nobody told them yet. You say, but they are rehabilitated, they don't kill. You think? Stop paying them and see what happens. Here's what I say to these guys. You don't know how long this partnership with the government is going to last. So get paid. Get your papers now. Get as much as you can. And like I've always said, don't take no for an answer. You know why? Because these politicians, they themselves are getting paid It's multiple $1 million they have in bank accounts. Multiple $1 million they have hidden away in rooms in Boyo. So, make sure you get yours. That's all I'm saying. We need to get back to a place where we have politicians who are willing to put in the work. You see, right now, people are in distress in the country. Hard-working, honest people are in distress in the country. And you are not trying to make sure that they are looked after. People are still struggling trying to get their severance payment. And even when you give them their severance, you give them part of it. You're borrowing money from your destitute citizens by only paying them a fraction of what is theirs. How can a country that boasted incessantly about surpluses now tell the people that you cannot pay them their severance because you have no money? Those two facts don't jive. And so people are suffering. But you know, they're suffering quietly. They're suffering with the mouth shut. I'm going to pause here. And then when we come back, we'll continue with the rebuttal.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamond and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl D. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment with Spread the Word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits, 100% black. It's the Carl D. Springate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume, just smell just right, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Deon Street.
Ready or not, hear my clothes, you can't hide. I'm gonna find you and make you want me.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis. Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
I'm local.
Check me area code, me area code. Anywhere me go, you know me touch the
To international,
Hey, I go shopping, want it, then I cop it. Ayy, yeah, bitches poppin', I do what they copy.
And have you informed with a range of topics.
So on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Backchat.
Ready or not, you're my girl.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody knows the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. A delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep fucking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fuck it up. Make country produce in it, fuck it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of the politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who fucking up me country.
Welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. Now, last week I was talking about the new norm with respect to politics and the fact that paying for or buying votes is now the new norm in St. Kitts and Nevis. I promise you that when I made that presentation last week, I did not know that Dr. Drew had brought a cause of action against Eugene Hamilton, accusing him of treating, not CHEATING, but TREATING, which is a criminal act under the election legislations in St. Kitts. And I only got that information the following day, and somebody sent something to me. And so, yes, Dr. Drew has a cause of action in the court. I'm understanding that the case is supposed to be heard somewhere around February. Now, some of you may ask, well, I thought that any petition having regards to the election should have been brought within 10 days after the election. I'm now understanding that this particular type of case had up to 6 months after the election to be brought before the court, and that they met the deadline. Now, do I think that this is going to make a difference? I don't know. Because the funny thing with crime and criminal activities in St. Kitts right now, it's a matter of whether you get caught. There isn't enough deterrent, it appears, to cause people not to engage in certain activity. And as I have argued, the country is not a moral country anymore. And so you find that people are not only going to do things that are immoral or amoral, they're going to do things that are illegal and pray that they get away with it. And so while I would like to see this particular case succeed, and I must tell you, for personal reasons, I don't know that it's going to make a difference. So I am still thinking that from here on out, elections in St. Kitts and Nevis are going to be about money. It's going to be about who can pay voters to vote. And the more that you depend on bringing persons from outside into St. Kitts, the more that is going to be so. So when you bring people in from Dominican Republic to vote, they are going to be motivated to do so if you show them the money. Because you see, those who are here know that that has been the tradition in the past couple of elections. And so any new person coming in, they are going to fall in line because they would be told that that's the way it goes. And so I think, notwithstanding this case, I don't think that things are going to change that much when it comes to elections in St. Kitts and Nevis. Money gonna pass, and money will determine who wins the election. Now, I was disappointed when Labour failed to challenge the election within the time frame that the law prescribed. I'm still suspicious of certain things, but let me not talk about that. But I was disappointed because I thought that Labour had a strong case with this same treating business and also bribery. Think about it. Let's look at Eugene. Eugene is in charge of NHC. Right? There are people who were applying for land for months and for years, and they were denied. And then all of a sudden, come election day, persons who didn't even apply for land or houses were getting them like bread and cheese. I know, I saw it happen. I mean, from a distance. Because people call me and tell me, boy, I just get paper for the land. Boy, I just get paper for house. You understand? Same thing happened over in sustainable development. And all you have to do is go back and look at the records and see what the process and procedures were for you applying and obtaining land. Present that in the court and then compare that with what happened just before election. All right? And the case is made for itself. Now I understand that they are trying to intimidate witnesses. A witness intimidation is a crime too, you know. And so you are to look into catching somebody doing that. But we knew that the only way that they were going to win in aid is to cheat. Because in addition, they took 60 names off the voters list. 60. But you win by 23. That's not cheating, you know. That's thieving. And then, I know that ain't how you were raised, Eugene. but you gone around and get yourself caught. Even on tape, I understand. Exchanging gifts for vote. I'm going to tell you right now, you all know that there is no love lost between me and Eugene. And so I have absolutely no sympathy with him when it comes to this. If he's good, if he's not guilty, then he wins the case. But if he's guilty and he loses the case and is branded a criminal, I ain't gonna cry, to be honest. I ain't gonna cry. You see me? When I do bad, I expect to be punished. And I accept my punishment. And I don't want not a soul feel sorry for me. You understand? And so in this instance, don't vex if me no feel sorry. Especially those who try to do me harm. You understand what I'm saying? And so I wholeheartedly support this case. I know that using lawyering maneuvers, this case could be drawn up. But I would like this case to be heard, if only to see what the courts would conclude. Because here is a chance for us to go back to an old normal where buying votes was not widespread. Buying votes was not the way to campaign. I prefer it like that. I mean, I feel like it's a little change here and a little change there. All right. But now it's widespread. Big money a pass. And the big money that passing ain't really supposed to be so that you could get a person's vote. Because let me tell you something, if you want to catch a person, land and house is the way to catch them, Because you well know how badly people want land in a St. Kitts, You well know how badly people want house in a St. Kitts, You understand? And some people get 2 and 3 land because you know how it is. Once you say land and your house, people gonna line up. And you may say, boy, you can't give away enough land to make a difference. You want to bet? You want to bet? You know how much land and house people were given out? Didn't I just tell you that Eugene won by 23 votes? Some of them people who got land from Eugene to vote for Eugene voted against Eugene the last time. And so that count for 2 this time. And some of them who get land and voted for Eugene the last time had done say they ain't gonna vote for him this time because they ain't get nothing. So when he come with the land now, last minute, that's 2 votes for Eugene. All Drew needed was about 12 people who voted against him and for Gene the last time to vote for him this time. And that is why I say it made a difference. It made a difference. 12 votes made a difference. Or if you wish, 23 votes made a difference. And you can count way more than 23 houses that were given out. That is why you see in 5 years, he only put down about 15 houses in Cayon and a little bit in St. Peter's. He was holding out so that he could use the law of you getting a house and land as a bargaining chip come election, and that can't be right. You can't take people for granted like that. You can't treat people like that. Yet you did. And so I don't argue with the fact that no, you are brought before the court to answer. I sure hope that the lawyers and Dr. Drew have enough evidence that they could substantiate their claim of treating as it relates to Eugene Hamilton. You understand? I mean, think about it. For 5 years, people want a piece of land. For 5 years, people want a house. And you ignore them. And then, all of a sudden, boom, you get an offer of a house. Boom, you get an offer of a piece of land. But think about it. Think about it. Look what they're going to do. They're going to do it again in 5 more years. And then as soon as election done, they're going to have you land up for auction. Now understand me right now. I am not in favor of people getting their houses or land and not paying for them when there are people who want. I think it should go to people who can afford them and who want them, right? If you are not ready for your land, or if you're not ready for your house, then you go back in the line. You understand? And so when I hear that they are auctioning off homes and so forth, what I hope is that there wouldn't be a situation where the big belly fellow get people to front for him in these auctions and buy up these lands and buy up these houses and then make a profit on them. Because that's how they operate, you know. That's how they operate. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to use you every opportunity they get because they now know that you would fall for it. You fell for it before, you're likely to fall for it again. Especially in number 8. Now, if this case were to be called and adjudicated before 5 years up, that would create a vacancy because it's a crime. And it would mean that Eugene would be convicted of a crime. And as such, he would not be able to run in the next election, whether it be a by-election or a general election. And so, if there's a by-election, Eugene would not be able to run, because by then he would be branded a criminal. So keep your eye out and see what happens. But of course, like I said, there are ways to draw these things out. And if it's drawn out long enough, they may prefer to call a general election, take the chances, than to call a by-election. All right? I kind of think that they would prefer to call a general election than a by-election, for obvious reasons. I'm going to pause there, and then when I come back, I think we're going to close out this evening.
I love being in the latest style and dress fine, or should I say classy. That is why I shop at First Class next to the taxi stand at Port Sante for fine gold and silver jewelry in precious, semi-precious and colored stones, diamond and crystal watches, and the hottest handbags and wallets. And when I want to buy a gift for someone, that's easy too. I just ask them to make me a gift basket, and First Class has the best prices at Port Sante. So no matter what the occasion, come on into First Class and leave happy, knowing you've gotten the best deal for your money. It's First Class at Port Sante, where quality, low prices, and top-notch service are second to none.
Spread the word. New and exclusive every Sunday from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Gospel Cafe with Carl B. Springate on KYSS FM 102.5. Tune in and connect with the Holy Ghost Connection with live interviews, Christian news, what's hot and what's not in the now. Birthdays and anniversary shout-outs available, Bible Jeopardy, Beyond the Pulpit, and positive entertainment and ministry. Testimonies and the pastor's moment with Spread the Word. So tune in as we drop the latest gospel hits, 100% flat. It's the Carl D. Springate Gospel Cafe, Sundays from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KYSSFMonline.com and 102.5 FM. And be blessed like that.
One fashion accessories for really low prices. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Beauty supplies and weave, genuine fragrances. Check silver and cents. Check silver and cents. Handbags so beautiful, your friends will envy how you look. With perfume to smell just right, you'll feel like you're in paradise. Watches, silver jewelry, and hair accessories. Check silver and cents in the Amri Mall on Deon Street.
Ready or not, hear my clothes, can't hide. Gonna find you and make you one thing.
Ain't nobody tell me nothing.
I'm Shaniel Francis. Kyssfm 102.5 is proud to announce its brand new morning show, Backchat, the only place to hear the hottest music.
From local
Check me area code, direct me area code. Anywhere me go, you know me touch the
to international.
Ay, I go shopping, want it then I cop it. Ay, yeah, bitches popping, I do what they copy.
and have you informed with a range of topics.
tell me nothing.
So on Mondays to Fridays, tune in at 8 to 11.
Tell me nothing.
You won't want to miss the vibes on
Backchat.
Ready or not, hear my clothes.
I wanna fly high up to the sky. I'm living in the mountains. Everybody knows the soil so fertile. If a man sit down naked, the seeds might grow. They're delightful getaway from the hustle, bustle and tricks. Oh, what a natural fix if you don't like to mix with the politics. One issue I have to resolve. If I could sort it out, all problems solved. Every time I plant corn and it start to shoot, some idiot keep forking it out the root. Make country flowers in it, fork it up. Make country produce in it, fork it up. Country start to blossom. I don't know who or where they come from. Me blind neighbor say he saw a man resembling one of them politicians. I wasn't there, so I didn't see exactly who forking up me country.
So welcome back to the Rebuttal. I'm Douglas Wattley, your host. So we're going to close out right now. And here's me wishing you a double salary this year. If you get double salary, me and get two, I'm a pensioner. But I don't think you could keep your hopes up on that. Even though I think that now is the time that you should get a double. And every citizen who worked should get a little sum to not just tide you over, but to keep the economic engines turning over. All right? But we'll wait and see. Next week is the budget. We'll hear what they say and we'll see what the plans are for 2021. But I also hope that you stop sending home some persons who reach 55 and not others. That is what will create the angst in a country, man. The unfairness. Stop picking and choosing. Stop punishing people. You understand? You know, some people say that the reason why some people want to be in power is that they have the power to punish their enemies and to do favors for their friends. And unfortunately, that's not a way to govern. Because the big belly man and his family doing well, you know. And they're going to do well for a while. But they not sleep. You know that there is a security firm, or maybe more than one, which if you trace them back, you'll be able to trace them back to the big belly fellow. Right? I've heard a name, Ham, as being part of the security firm. That is payoff. That is payoff because he was one who had squealed and said that the campaign money is being stolen. And to keep him quiet, they give him a security firm. To keep the other one quiet, well, that's my disappointment of a lifetime. I ain't even going to talk about that. Right? But I understand that the security firm could be found guarding or providing security for inland revenue. You better watch the money. They're providing security for JNF, for the Treasury Building, now for National Bank, for the Tourism Authority, for the Heroes Park, for the Horizon Rehabilitation facilities down in Harris's, for Social Security, for the East Bus Terminal, for Skelett, for the Labour Department, and they're providing mobile patrol around constituency number 7. Now they ain't say in Tabernacle, you know. You know why they say number 7? Because one of them live in Upper Bowyer. One of them live in Upper Bowyer. The mastermind live in Upper Bowyer. But they're afraid. They got money but they can't sleep. You got money because it's ill-gotten gain and you can't sleep and you think everybody want to come for it. Plus, you don't do a lot of people bad mind and you think they're after you. And so you got power, you got money, and you can't sleep, can't live an ordinary life. Because in the back of your mind, you all know how I get it. You know how you get it, and you know how you get it. You didn't earn it. You didn't get it the old-fashioned way. You didn't earn it. That is all your problem. And so, you're going to keep on trying to grab. And the more you grab, the less you're going to sleep. Because you cannot be comfortable. Because you used to accuse people of doing the same thing that you're now doing. If it wasn't right then, it can't be right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it a night. We're going to talk again next week, God willing. So you all take care, you hear? Bye-bye.
Yes! That's the man Big Lies again. 2020 Virtual Carnival. With me and Mark Wattley. How you doing, my boy? I hear Neve is nice. My Neve is friend, ma'am. Jamie, share the live, share the live. Just one Facebook live session served to capture the nation's attention. This surprise reaction points to a thirst for information. Whenever there is rumor, one has to counter. Balance and truth always matter. When it's your reputation that's called into question, silence is never an option. We want to know, Timo, we want to know why you continue to undermine Maxo. We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Are you subtly telling Nevis they got to go? Tell us why should they accept your ongoing disrespect? Always interfering without informing. You well know that Mark is in charge, but you think you're larger than large. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Ooh, Calypso man. They're gonna try all kind of things. They have their bully people on Facebook, hiding behind all kind of fake profiles. But tell them we're not afraid of them. Hey, paying them all kind of money. You use your bully pulpit, trying your very best to discredit, calling into question many a person's reputation. Honest men and women have been made to defend their good reputation, while on social media persons of dishonor spreading lies and propaganda. So we want to know, we want to know why you, Wallace and Andre does lie so. We want to know, Timo, we want to know where exactly did their campaign money go? Your threat of legal action was just a mere distraction. Meanwhile, hoping that we will forget about the money. But when we see your portfolio of property start to overflow, how did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Yeah, man! Kaiser! Franklin Brand, Gene Conda, what going on? Saman Dwyer, ungratefulness, worse than witchcraft. When one looks at your history, it's clear you have issues with loyalty. Because while in opposition, where did you turn for inspiration? I could well remember Franklin Brand and Gene Conda making sure you were looked after. But since you came to power, you have nothing to offer. Now it's just you, family and brother. So we want to know, Timo, we want to know how on earth you turn ungrateful soul. We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Not even Dwyer you consult anymore. Suddenly you don't like Sam, no respect, you don't give a damn. Ever since you arrived, you don't care if he survive. Forgetting those who help you up, that's the way ingratitude stop. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Kyssfm, Sharon Rattan, I want to say thanks a million. You save the country a lot of money. But we need answers. We need to know about the severance money. I have one simple question. Please, Timo, can you tell the nation about their severance money? Is it being managed responsibly? Cause I hear in a rumor about a certain fella and a former labor commissioner. Is it true that the quick action from Sharon Rattan save the country 1.2 million? We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Why you protecting Andre Liebert-Stowe? We want to know, Timo, we want to know. Just how far are you willing to go to shield him from any attack? Have you pledged to have his back? Are you just protecting or saving your own skin? Some of the things I hear you would do, Mr. PM, I hope that is true. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. How did you get so, Mr. Timo? We want to know. Why? Kyssfm, we're asking hard questions. Remember, share the life, share the life, share the life. Hi, so Abonati Studio. Abonati.